morning. Welcome to Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. We're so happy you've chosen this sanctuary and time, and that you're here is something we celebrate. We extend an especially warm welcome to our visitors. Congratulations, you found your people. Please join us for coffee and conversation in Fellowship Hall after the service. It's right through those doors and past the welcome desk. If you're watching online, please join our virtual coffee hour after the service by clicking the link in the video description or the chat section. We'll provide the platform, you provide your coffee. We now invite everyone to rise and greet each other, look for an unfamiliar face, and say hello. Remember, we were all newcomers once.
This microphone, if you try to get closer to it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think people can't hear that well out of this. Okay, okay.
So good to be together. And now a few announcements.
Good morning. If you are interested in getting more involved with our congregation, I invite you to take a starting point class, which is a small group setting where we share from our own spiritual journeys that brought us to this point, learn about UU history, learn about what it means to be a member, and get plugged into small groups. Those happen once a month, and you must register online. If you're not ready for that and you want to just meet with people after the service, our Just the Basics session is today, immediately following the service. This is a 30-minute overview of Unitarian Universalism and this congregation, and will give you a chance to ask questions and meet other new folks. Today, after the service, grab a cup of coffee and a snack and look for Jim Christ in the foyer near the welcome desk. Also, there is a Tall in the Fall meeting today at 11:45 a.m. in the multi-purpose room. We will be discussing new signage for our welcome area in Fellowship Hall, our upcoming sustainability fair, as well as other projects. All are welcome. And now an announcement from Tina Combe.
It has been said that we need what bubbles up from the imagination of artists in times like these. As such, we are honored to announce that Anna Maldonado is our featured artist in the Hollenbeek Gallery this quarter. The gallery is behind this wall across from the church office. So please grab a cup of coffee or beverage right after the service and stop by the gallery to hear Anna give a brief gallery talk in which she will tell us about the works on display, share what inspires her, and answer any questions. Since I'm up here, and just to add a smidgen more update on the Hollenbeek Gallery, we are pleased to announce that we have already booked quarterly exhibits through the end of 2025. We are now scheduling 2026, which may be perfect for you because it gives you time to pull together or add to your own art for an exhibit next year. We feature emerging artists, hobbyist artists, along with lifelong artists like Anna, because our purpose is to celebrate the spirit of creativity in all of its guises. We have never turned anyone away. Please let me know if you or someone you know would like to be in a group exhibit or have a solo show. Thank you.
And now I'll invite Fisk up to give an announcement about food.
Good morning, everyone. Next Sunday, we're going to have a potluck luncheon after the service. And I reached out to the potluck group to volunteer to bring things, and they responded wonderfully. But people kept saying, you know, Fisk, are we going to have enough food? Are we going to have enough food next Sunday? I'm like, we're working on it. And then Reverend Rose says, Fisk, I trust you to make sure we have enough food next Sunday. So I did the obvious thing. I asked ChatGTP how many dishes we would need for a potluck luncheon with 150 people. And we have a good start on it from the potluck group. We now have scientifically configured sign-up sheets at the welcome desk, and I would ask anyone who's willing to do so to please sign in for an empty slot and say something that you would like to bring. And that way we can celebrate abundance and have plenty of food for everyone. Thank you.
Lastly, if you're wondering how you can support our beautiful Project 1020 shelter on these frigid, deadly cold days, please join us on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. for the Lenexa City Council meeting to show up in love and support and positivity for the inherent worth and dignity of every person. There will probably not be public comment that night, but we hope to see you there. And lastly, in good news, our pantry has been operating only half-time for some months, but recently, because of a generous donation, we are able to offer food every single week again. We are so pleased about this. There are so many people who rely on our shelter. This means that we will need more food and more volunteers. We really hope that you will volunteer. You can go to foodpantry.org, and you know it's food spelled F-U-U-D, like we like to do here in UU churches. There are many ways to support. It is not all on a Tuesday afternoon, and in fact, we need more volunteers that are going to be able to run errands and pick food up not on Tuesday nights. Jack Cornfield said, "It is possible to speak with our heart directly. We actually can converse with our heart as if it were a good friend. In modern life, we have become so busy with our daily affairs and thoughts that we have lost this essential art of taking time to converse with our heart." Come, let us worship. Please rise as you're willing and able for our opening hymn, number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
Through
be seated. As Nina comes forward, calling Nina, to light our chalice, we invite you to join with us as we recite our covenant. Hi, Nina. Let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall be to harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another.
I now invite the family of Arthur to come forward. We have been brought together today by Arthur for a joyous occasion to recognize and welcome him into this world and circle of love. Every day that a child is born is a miracle, an opportunity to recognize the power of love, a day to give thanks for the beauty of the earth, a day to recognize that no one is brought up alone. Welcome to this circle of love as we dedicate ourselves and each other to the care and tending of Arthur. We recognize all who have gathered here now and those who are away from us in distance and time. We honor the ancestors who have left this world, but not our hearts, and we welcome them here in our minds. Grace and Jared, who do you bring to this gathered community? Are you ready to dedicate Arthur to this world? If so, say we are. Will you promise to care for Arthur, love him with all your heart and soul? Will you raise him to love justice and live with compassion? Will you extend to him kindness and courage? And will you encourage him to live his dreams? And now may I have John, Marianne, and Kay, the grandparents, come forward? Will you promise to love Arthur with the wild abandon of grandparents? Will you raise him to love nature and live with kindness? Will you extend to him support and resources as he chooses his own life? And will you encourage him to live his dreams?
We will.
And now, Joseph, the godparent, please come forward. Joseph, will you promise to love Arthur with all your heart and soul? Will you raise him to love honesty and live with integrity? Will you extend to him friendship and joy? And will you encourage him to live his dreams? I will. And now I would like all the children who are here to come on up here. Take a look at this adorable baby. Come on. All right, kiddos, I'm going to ask you a question, and if you agree, you say, we will, okay? This here is baby Arthur. Will you promise to love Arthur, to play with him, grow up with him, and be his friend? If so, say, we will. Children, you may remain seated, but congregation, please rise. All who are gathered, will you promise to care for Arthur? Will you help raise him to love justice and live with compassion? Will you extend to him kindness and courage? And will you encourage him to live his dreams? If so, say, we will. We will. Let us now bless Arthur with the wonders of the earth. I have a rose here with the thorns removed. Arthur, may your words be thoughtful and positive and brave. May your heart be open and compassionate and true. May your words be thoughtful and wild and measured and kind. May your hands be helpful and skillful and gentle. Friends, it is with great joy that I present to you another gift to this world, a blessing to all of us, A joy to all who meet him, Arthur.
Hello, yes, children, come around here. We have a new friend today. I am so excited because Rev Rose brought a new friend with her today that she met while backpacking across Peru.
Oh, no, Jen, Hilda doesn't backpack. We met in the Lima Opera Hall where she was the soloist.
Okay, wow, but I had no idea you were friends with a llama. Hi, Hilda.
Jin, may I speak with you privately? I thought I was coming to receive an award, not give a chat. When's the ceremony? Llama? Did you call me a llama?
Oh no, I think I really messed up. I'm sorry, of course you're an alpaca.
Yes.
But alpaca and llamas are so similar, and I just got
Indeed, you
confused.
did mess up. You did mess up. It's offensive to my very constitution to be in your presence. But as you can see, I am the soul of manners. And you may thus ask me one question.
I'm so sorry. Hilda, thank you for correcting me. Please forgive my ignorance. Can we please start over? I really want Reb Rose, and I want us to all be friends.
I can't imagine what you're even talking about.
I'm so sorry, Reb Rose. I really thought the three of us could be friends. Hilda, I know this might not be what you expected, and I made a mistake. I'd really like to learn from it.
What are you blathering on about?
Do you think you could give me a chance to make things right?
Preposterous. No, absolutely not. I'm humiliated.
Hilda, have you ever made a mistake?
In fact, no, and nothing's coming to mind. Well, Hilda, what about when you accidentally gave everyone the wrong address for your birthday party? Oh, I didn't realize you were there for that. I suppose I've made a few miffs in my day.
So, Hilda, it sounds like you might know exactly how I'm feeling right now.
Well, not exactly, I suppose, but it's all right. You thought I was a llama. It's a common mistake amongst the uneducated. Hilda, it seems like you're insulting Jen. In order to apologize, you need to really mean it. Okay. Dr. Lacey, I once had an incredible teacher in the school for promising young llamas who reminds me of you. I forgive you.
Thank you. Wait, you went to a school for llamas?
What? No, wait, I would never say that out loud. I would never go to a school for llamas. Well, actually, I looked it up right here on my cell phone, and it does say in Opera Today that Hilda the llama went to a llama school. Oh no, my secret's out. I'm a llama.
Hilda, we don't care if you're a llama or an alpaca.
You don't?
We're all gonna love Hilda the same, right?
Oh my.
You can be whoever you are here.
Oh, thank you. That's actually quite refreshing. I apologize for my foibles, children, for being so rude. Although it wasn't really that rude, was it? No, it wasn't. Thank you for being here. Seeing you all makes me remember when I was a baby llama running free in the hills of Peru, unencumbered by a life of stardom. See, kids, Hilda here made a mistake, but everybody makes mistakes. Have you all ever made a mistake? You have? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sometimes you make a mistake if your little brother's in your room. You might make a mistake how you respond. Yeah, that's a lifelong endeavor.
But we all have to know that even if you make a mistake, that doesn't mean that something's wrong with you, and that even if you want to be seen as an alpaca, it's okay to even be a llama, for example. If you fell down, you got a bad boo-boo, what are you going to do? You can get a Band-Aid. Yeah. And then you're like probably a little bit more careful afterward to not run so hard. Yeah. You could get, if you fell down again, you would get another Band-Aid. Yeah. And actually, sometimes if we do things like if we fall, we have to think about how that makes us ultimately a little bit better, because we're gonna be more careful next time. So even when we fail, we have to know that that actually helps us in our lives. Well, Jen, thank you for having me. This has been very educational.
Yeah, and Hilda, thank you for giving me a chance to learn and to make things right with you. I'm excited to be friends with.
You're welcome that I was here.
Yeah.
Yes. Goodbye.
Well, all right, please join us in singing the children out to their classrooms.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Each month, we as a community take time to reflect on a theme. The children do this in their classes, and we do it here in worship and in our Soul Matters groups. This month, the theme is the practice of inclusion. Not what is inclusion, but how do we practice inclusion? What do we do to practice inclusion? It's tempting to think about inclusion as what we as a church do to create an inclusive space. And we do indeed a lot to ensure that everyone feels safe, respected, and included. As a church, we strive to be inclusive, but alas, we are a church made of humans. So, like Hilda, we make mistakes sometimes. We occasionally fail. We can knowingly or unknowingly cause pain to other people and drive people away. But we learn from our mistakes, from our failures, and the pain we cause, and we grow. And despite our shortcomings and our failures, I cannot think of a more inclusive place than this church. But creating an inclusive space is not all the story. When I reflect on the practice of inclusion, it occurs to me that there is another side to that equation, the individual side. Inclusivity is not just a church or any organization creating an inclusive space and expecting, like an alien blob from some 1960s science fiction B movie, to suck in passersby and grow ever larger. The other side of the practice of inclusion falls upon the individual, upon me, upon you, upon each person who comes through our doors, sees something, feels an affinity, hears something calling, and practices inclusion at the individual level by including themselves, by stepping into this space. I remember my own experience of individual inclusion more than 20 years ago. I remember the courage, the uncertainty, the resolve, and the hope that it took to step through that church door for the first time and come into this place. And I also remember the feeling that grew inside me to eventually say, count me in. I will be a part of this place. I will have a place at this table. Spoiler alert, next week we'll be kicking off our annual stewardship drive. A period of weeks during which we reach out to the church community and encourage generous financial support for the church and the work we do. I'm not going to say anything today about money. You're welcome. However, during the stewardship campaign, you're likely to hear testimonials from individuals. They will share what the church means to them, how it changed their lives, why they became a member, and why they support the church financially. I urge you to listen carefully to these testimonials, especially the why they became a member part. And in this context, member means member with a capital M, a book signing, pledging, class taking member. Listen carefully and reflect on your personal story. Every year, UU churches make a report of their membership numbers to the Unitarian Universalist Association, the mothership of UU churches. This year, SMUUCh reported 239 members. The good news is that this year's number is up 22 members from last year. Pause for applause. However, there are more than 500 people who actively participate in SMUUCh programs. And this puzzles me. 500 people participating and 239 members. If you are not currently a member of the church, please take some time to consider membership seriously. Include yourself in the great work we have ahead of us, and we have a lot of work to do. We need you. Now more than ever, we need you. And I'm not talking about your money. We need your voice. We need your energy. We need your wisdom. So instead of being a customer, consider becoming a shareholder or even sitting on the board of directors. Instead of being a spectator, join the team. Instead of being a passenger on this ship, join the crew and help chart its course. We're all human here. We fail. Come fail with us. Come fail with us and learn. If you seek perfection, you will not find it here. And if you do find it, please come and get me.
We come to this place to see and be seen, to teach and be taught, to hear and be heard. I invite you to reach over and nudge the person sitting next to you, reminding them and yourselves that we are gathered here in peace and in authenticity and in intention. We also come to this place to share our joys and sorrows. If you have a rare joy or a profound sorrow, I invite you to come forward and briefly share in 2 to 3 sentences.
I'm Sarah. Some of you know I teach middle school, and I have a particular class this semester that, let's just say, the class made it without a physical fight the first time ever. The whole class, no one punched anybody this week. I'm really glad about it.
I have a very fun, profound joy. I posted a cute little video of how we accidentally acquired a lot of ranch dressing, and I let that be my son's gift to the class for his Valentine's Day handing out bag. And that video that I posted on TikTok got over 500,000 views and 53,000 likes, and I'm just like, wow, I'm famous for ranch. I feel so blessed. So there's my profound joy today.
I'm Vicki Trott, and I'm lighting this candle of joy and sadness. Our daughter-in-law, after 6 years of working on her PhD, will finish in April or May, and has accepted a job in South Carolina. And so she's moving with my son and their 3-month-old daughter far, far away.
I'm lighting a candle of rare joy. We found out today that our son, who's a postdoc scientist at UC Berkeley, just received the Beckman Scholarship, which he's applied for before and is a tremendous honor. And in some ways, I always look at this as a credit to this church because he went through the child dedication. He was born and bred in a community that values science and investigation, and it helped shape him. And with the possible cutbacks of funding for scientific research, it's been a little worrisome for him and all of the scientists that he knows. And the one that he got is privately funded, so it gives him kind of a rubber stamp and 2 dimes to rub together for his research in the coming years.
I light this candle for all those who are experiencing fear and insecurity under our current political situation. And I light the remaining candles for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. Please sing with me.
And sorrows in a shared heart.
Let us take a moment to come more fully into this place. Perhaps putting your feet flat on the floor, taking a deep breath. Taking a moment to tune in. Today for our meditation, we will undertake a blessing for the risk takers and the failures, which is to say, all of us. Today we share in a blessing for losers, risk takers, and failures far and wide. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip the pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make giant mistakes, whose intentions are good but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their hearts will know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are they who have seen a D or an F or C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and the labels as less than, for they will know the wisdom of the imperfect. Blessed are they who try again, dust off, who wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to the sites of failure, who are dogged in their pursuit, for they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are those who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses of hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for they will be able to delight in the gift of compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, who pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. I invite you now to draw into your mind something in your life that just feels like it's failing a little. Something that just isn't going the way you wish it would. Maybe something that isn't going as fast or as easily. As a form of meditation, as we sing our meditative hymn, I invite you to keep this in your mind.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Our reading today comes from Laura Brown Lavoie from the Women of the World Poetry Slam 2013. I have been wanting to read this poem to you since I came to this church. On this, the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic, we reconsider the buoyancy of the human heart. What's wrong, the Titanic asked me this morning when she found me lying on the ocean floor, my suitcases strewn open. Oh, I don't know, I moaned. I was looking through National Geographic and saw some pictures of you and thought I might come have a chat. You looked great, by the way, in the pictures. Me, nah, the Titanic said. If anything, I seem to have become a Picasso, and I have a beard. It was true. She looked more like a collage of a ship, strangely two-dimensional in her crater, French doors here, boilers and railings, and she did have a bit of a beard, rust icicles hanging from her in red strands. Sitting up in my own little crater, I sort of blushed. To be honest, I told the Titanic, my honey's leaving town soon, and I'm afraid it's going to wreck things, so I dove down here. Well, come on in, she said, although I'm not sure I've got what you're looking for. So I climbed in between two rust stalactites. When I got to the Turkish baths, I sat on the edge of a barnacled tub and watched crabs scrabble at my feet. I was hoping you'd teach me how to sink gracefully, I said. You who have spent a century underwater with 1,500 skeletons in your chest. I don't know, said the Titanic. I'm kind of a wreck. Exactly, I said, me too. I'm here to apprentice myself to wreckage. To you, great bearded lady, gargantuan ark, you floating hotel with enough ballrooms in you to dance with everyone I've ever loved. My heart has an iceberg with its name on it, so I need some advice. Did you see the iceberg coming? I did, the Titanic said. And you sailed right into it? It was love, the Titanic said. Then I made a terrible noise for her. I've been practicing the sound of wrenching metal, I told her, for when my love leaves. But you're not made of metal, the Titanic said to me. I'm a writer, I said. I can be made of anything. Well, then be a writer, she said. Be a writer. I paused. Okay, when my love leaves, I'll start with SOS. I'll Morse code the whole world vertical. I'll write a nosedive as my torso splits in two. And the next day I'll write the stunned headlines. And the next day I'll write the obituaries. And the next day I'll write furious accusations. And the next day I'll write pardons, but I won't really mean it. And the next day I'll write sonnets, but they won't fit the schema. And the next day I'll write please, please, please come back. I'll write epitaphs, navigation maps, warning for future generations of the hubris of human love. I will write nonsense. I will write nonsense all the way down, and no diving teams will find me. No robot arms will retrieve me in pieces. Never will I be assembled in plain air, no. I will remain whole 2 miles down, my suitcases strewn open, and in 100 years I will still be writing about this feeling, though my heart be a Picasso, though my heart be bearded at the bottom of the sea. The Titanic let me cry for a while, my sobs echoing off her moldy mosaics. Then she said, "Girl, you're too young for a beard like this. But the trouble with you humans is you're so concerned with staying afloat. You're not a boat. Go ahead, be gouged open by love. You can go under and come up again with those big old lungs. And that heart," she said, "that gargantuan ark, that floating hotel, call it unsinkable, although it is sinkable. Embark," she said, "there are enough ballrooms in you to dance with everyone you'll ever love." That's what the Titanic told me. There are enough ballrooms in you. Today, we gather to bless the failures amongst us, which is to say, you and me. For we have each failed in so many ways. We've failed our loved ones, we've failed our earth, our families, our communities, and ourselves. It is the nature of being human. Failures, large and small, are part of who we are. And yet, here's my spiritual life hack for the day. Our failures don't make us less worthy. They actually open us up to the opportunity for a deeper love. For the sooner we love ourselves, not despite what we've done, but because of who we are today, we will find ourselves in a place of understanding and compassion and love for those around us and ourselves. For today, the Sunday after Valentine's Day, we celebrate love in all its many forms. We celebrate romantic love and the journey it is to become vulnerable with another person, to bind yourself up in a special covenant with someone else and love them well. Today we celebrate pleasure and bodies and puppy love and long love and all the ways that families can and do take shape. We celebrate self-love, that deep within you that you are worthy, that you have something about you that deserves reverence and care, especially from yourself. We celebrate a holy type of love, which we feel for that which is, for the earth, for the people, for reality, for our lives. Indeed, in the UUA's recent revision of our belief statement, prominently is centered the word love, and we even say that love is at the center of what we believe. But what do we mean by the word love? One minister explained it this way, that when we tell our children at night, "I love you," what we really mean to say is that when you were born, something shifted deep within me so powerful that if you were to die before me, something would tear inside me that would never repair. So when we say we love something, does that mean we are overcome with emotion? Does it mean that we feel that physical pull? Jesus is even attributed as saying that God is love, which rings true in our Universalist Christian lineage, which states that there is a love big enough for everyone to fit into, that we are each ultimately lovable as a father would love his children who could never let half of them burn in a fire of eternal suffering. Therefore, love is mercy, compassion, the sense that we each have an inherent worth and dignity that automatically qualifies us to be beloved. As I thought about this sermon, I thought, what would a Unitarian Universalist theology of love be? And if I were to wonder aloud, I would say that we believe that love lives in between us, and that all wrapped up in that is mercy, emotions, bodies, and that our love is big enough not to wash out the evil of this world, but to give us each endless chances at repair. In this way, our theology echoes what Bell Hooks says in her beautiful book titled All About Love. She says the word love, although most often defined as a noun, would be better if we used it as a verb. She said, I spent years searching for a meaningful definition of the word love and was deeply relieved when I found one that described love as the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. That love is as love does. Love is an act of will, namely, both an intention and an action. We do not have to love. We choose to love. Indeed, the direct translation of the most famous love verse from the Bible, 1 Corinthians, is so much deeper than we've been taught to understand it. It doesn't actually say that love is patient. It says that love is being patient. The words are verbs. It's not that love is described passively as kind. It's that love is when you are kind, that it's what we do that is love. And we all know that when we do, we fail. Bell Hooks said that it is assumed wrongly that we love instinctually, when really even people who were given examples of happy love throughout their childhood must learn to deepen that love, to study at the feet of love, and ever be exploring and experiencing and yes, failing to love well. For if we think about it, isn't the failure to love ourselves or others at the core of all of our lives' greatest failures? There have been many times that we were not able to nurture the spiritual growth in ourselves and others. Those times we hurt someone we love, when we meant to show up in solidarity but instead only did more damage, when we neglected someone in our care, when we neglected ourselves out of such an empty place inside. Haven't we all behaved in ways in our congregational lives, in our families, in our jobs and neighborhoods, in ways that could have been more loving? Indeed, we all have. This is why the Buddhists say that once you start to dedicate yourself to enlightenment, you've got 10,000 more lifetimes to go. Because learning to be compassionate is such a lifetime education. It is such a long game, such a continual unfolding, that all we can do is simply bless our failures, not as something that defines us, but as something that refines us. That we fail upwards all the time. That our only task in the face of failure is to learn from it, to not just sink to the bottom of the ocean and apprentice wreckage, to not adopt the black and white thinking that you are a failure, but rather let our failures show us who we don't want to be, and in turn, show us who we do want to be. This is an important lesson, because to miss out on the gifts that our failures bring us would mean to miss out on all the growth and wisdom that it brings. To know that we have a love so great within us that we can not only withstand failures of ourselves and others, but grow in our compassion and love from our own experience of falling short. Thus, if love is an action that we must undertake, an act of will, if we must decide to learn and fail to be more loving, then let us do so in honor of Saint Valentine, who was beheaded for marrying people against the will of the emperor at that time. Let us do as Bell Hooks said and extend ourselves to nurture more spiritual growth in others and ourselves, despite the risks it brings, knowing that we will fail. Let us dance in ballroom after ballroom. Let us live like love is so much more than sweet nothings or a meaningless word, and rather what we are meant to do in our lives as our highest calling, our spiritual practice. So I ask you, what would it mean for you to be more loving, to act from love, to risk for love? For me, it means that I work towards the inherent worth and dignity of every person. For me, it's to extend love to those who our society does not love. To look around and see who is routinely left out and who is treated in our country like that. And what I see, especially because I'm down in the south wing of our church a lot, is that it's disgusting the way our culture treats people who are on hard times. This must indeed be a moment of great learning, because there has recently been a 77-year-old man in the shelter. Barb, who runs the shelter, told me she wondered if a nursing home had closed down. With the rising grocery prices and the farmers' subsidies getting cut and the emboldened cruelty of ICE, it's not looking good for the poor and dispossessed of our country. I can only hope that this may be a moment of such great learning for our society, although we've had time to learn it, a moment when our failure to love each other teaches us that nothing is more important than keeping each other's bodies warm and fed, and that we must tie ourselves up together like that, or else we've been rent too far. As I look around and see so many of our neighbors struggling in fear, I have to ask myself, what would it mean for me to not give in to despair right now about our world, but instead to make the choice to follow my great teacher back into spaces that encourage acts of love from all of us? If you are like me and searching for places to feel the warmth of humanity right now, to be surrounded by people who are honest and compassionate, if on this Valentine's Day you are feeling love lost or loveless or unlovable or unloved or bitter or depressed or forlorn, it is all hands on deck at the pantry and shelter right now. For in the tutelage of the people who are running these programs, we will gain much wisdom. I want to see every single person in here signing up for a shift at the pantry or at the shelter, or asking what food we need to stock those shelves. We should all be running down that hallway towards the people in our midst, doing the beautiful, radical acts of love every single night, every single week. When I feel love lost or loveless, all I need to do is go to the south wing of our church, and I feel that I am healed. Thus, let us fail forward together into a better world. Let us return to the sites of failure in ourselves and be dogged in our pursuits, for then we will know the secret of our dreams. Let us stop running the race and stop to help our fellow travelers, pick up the fallen, stop for injured life. Let us wildly and boldly abandon winning, for then we will know the gift of forgiveness, the sweetness of community. We will live in the house of hope. For when we decide to learn from love, to act in love, when we extend ourselves in service of the spiritual growth of others, we will know the path of justice.
The work of the church depends on us, our generosity of time, wisdom, and financial resources. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 95, There is More Love Somewhere.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
This week, I invite you all to look at the shelter and pantry websites and make an appointment to volunteer. Go in peace.